Hey guys, this is Austin. The iPhone XS is one of the best phones you can buy today, which makes sense, as it's also one of the most expensive flagships ever. As opposed to doing our normal Is It Worth It video this year, instead I think it's a lot more useful if we answer the most important question with any new gadget launch. Who should buy the iPhone XS? One big reason to pick up the XS or the XS Max is if you're already in the Apple ecosystem and you're looking for an upgrade. Especially if you're coming from an older device such as an iPhone 6 or 6S, this is a big step forward. Take the camera for example. Put it side by side with the 6S and you'll notice a big difference. Now part of this is because there are several generations between the phones, which means that things like color science, dynamic range, and the video quality has all been improved, but you're also getting additional functionality, including the second telephoto option, which is especially useful for the portrait mode, which is actually pretty good on the XS. It's also hard to overlook the difference in screen size. Gone are the days of huge bezels on top and bottom. Instead, the new iPhone is basically all screen up front, including the notch. Oh yes, my friends, the notch. Look, personally, I don't mind the notch. Not only is it on basically every flagship phone out there, but at this point, while sure you might think it looks ugly, almost anyone is going to be able to get used to it very quickly. That notch houses one of the biggest differences between the XS and previous generations: Face ID. Put simply, instead of having a home button with Touch ID, instead you use your face to unlock the 10 and the XS, and generally speaking, it works pretty well. Certainly not perfect, but as far as I'm concerned, not bad. There are also some software updates from legacy phones, and some of which are pretty substantial. One of my favorites is the gesture-based navigation, since you don't have a home button to be able to exit apps as well as swipe in and out of multitasking and whatnot. This makes it a lot faster to be able to just swipe on the bottom of the screen. Performance is also a consideration. Every year the iPhone does get faster, and while the A-series processors have been really impressive, especially the last couple years, when you pit the XS compared to the 10, and especially going back to the 7 and the 6S, you're going to notice a pretty substantial difference. Sure, the camera is a solid update this year, but it is certainly not worth dropping another $1,000 to get. Same thing goes for the performance. Yes, on paper the XS is faster, but realistically there's almost no real-world difference. More than any phone I've used in years, the iPhone X has held up so well over a full year of use. The battery life still lasts all day long, it still feels fast, the camera is great. If you have one and you're not like rocking a broken screen or something, it is almost impossible for me to recommend it over the XS. No, I didn't actually mean that. That's the wrong. I flipped that. The 10 still feels every bit as fast as it did last year, and even more so now that iOS 12 is out. Speaking of, let's actually talk about iOS 12 for a second. As opposed to most updates which make your iPhone feel slower, 12 legitimately does make even older iPhones feel a lot faster. I'll be real, if my job wasn't to review the latest tech, I would not have updated my iPhone X to a XS. It's good, but the upgrades are just not worth it. On the other hand, one reason why you might want to pick up the XS is the longevity. It's really impressive that Apple is still supporting the iPhone 5S after 5 years, and honestly, the software support on the iOS side is one of the major advantages over Android in my opinion. If the XS gets that same level of support, it is a serious selling point. Sure, $1,000 for a phone is expensive, but when you break that up over 3, 4, or even 5 years of usable, well, use, that's pretty cool. There's also the fact that the updated screen design is the new standard going forward, which is a good sign for app support. Long story short, if you want to pick up a new iPhone today, the XS is a good shot of being able to last quite a while. On the other hand, not everyone wants to spend $1,000 on a new phone. Sure, the XS is great, but there's a lot of other things you could do with $1,000, like pay rent, or buy a lot of Subway sandwiches.
What? $5 food?
That's a lot of $5 footlongs. That's 200 of them.
They're not doing that
No.
anymore.
Wait, they're not?
That's not a thing anymore.
Not only can you pick up a much cheaper Android phone, such as the Pocophone F1 for a lot less than half the price, but there are also other iOS options that can do a decent job of not costing $1,000, such as the iPhone 7, which is now $450. Sure, it's probably not going to last as long, but you're still getting a solid camera, really reasonable performance, and it costs less than half the price of the XS. One point in favor of the XS, specifically with the Max, is if you're really into media consumption, which odds are if you're watching this video right now, you probably are. Based on early numbers, it seems like the XS Max is heavily outselling the standard XS, and that's really only for one reason: the fact that it's got that bigger display. Besides that, there's actually really no difference between the XS and the XS Max. The 6.5-inch OLED display is about as good as it gets for a smartphone. Not only is the brightness and the color and especially the contrast terrific, but it does support all the fancy new display technologies, including HDR10 and Dolby Vision. The improved speakers also make a difference. Not only are they louder, but they also have better stereo separation, and that combined with the screen makes the XS Max an excellent media consumption device. Honestly, the main reason to not buy the iPhone XS is really simple: the iPhone 10R. Take everything that's good about the 10S, add a wide variety of colors, remove the telephoto camera while still keeping the main camera intact, and replace the OLED display for an IPS panel, and boom, you've got yourself an iPhone 10R, which just so happens to be a full $250 cheaper. That's a big difference compared to past generations. Previously, Apple would knock about $100 off of the entry-level iPhone, but this year you're getting the 10R with almost the exact same spec, but with a major price cut. Something that's easy to miss is that while the 10R does have a lower pixel density, which is on par with the iPhone 8, but the actual screen size itself is right in between the 10S and the 10S Max. The 10R won't be out until late October, so I can't give it my full recommendation just yet, but on paper it really does look like the full package. You just aren't missing much compared to the 10S. And that is my recommendation. If you really want the best and have the budget for it, by all means pick up the 10S. It's a great phone. For almost everyone else though, I really feel like waiting for the 10R is worth it.